still moving into parts of eastern Massachusetts, the Cape, and even the Boston area. And with more on what's happening right now in Massachusetts, let's go live to our own Mike Seidel with the latest in Burlington, Massachusetts. Mike?
Hey, Paul. You being the skier you are, I know you'd like to be up here in this fresh powder. Ski resort's doing great. Still snowing up in ski country tonight. And here in Burlington, just want to give you an idea of how deep the snow is. Almost knee deep. And again, I'm kind of compacting it, but there's plenty of snow to go around. So if you've got nothing better to do the next couple days, take a drive up 95 and you'll find this stuff. The problems continue from the snowfall. Now they've gotten most of the main roads in pretty good shape, like the Mass Pike and the artery downtown and 95 and 128, but there's still some slushy, icy spots. And again, on these secondary roads and side streets, remember that everything was slushy today is now refreezing because we've lost daylight. And temperatures now in the suburbs in the upper 20s, 31 right now at Logan. That'll be our big concern tomorrow as life tries to return to normal here in Massachusetts. Everything basically shut down the past 2 days. Logan Airport aiming for a regular schedule tomorrow. That's not a guarantee. Check with your air carrier. I just checked with mine and all the flights are booked full, so let's hope they all go out. Let's go out to the coast. That's the other angle of the storm. Huge waves now tonight. This is live from Scituate on the south coast, southeast of Boston. And look at the wave action. Also on the right there, you'll see the swirling snow. The coast getting no snow until this morning, and then it changed over. Now they're getting some snow out around Scituate. It's those northeast facing beaches, Cohasset, Scituate. They had some flooding today around Plymouth. Now if we take the other shot, we can show you what's going on, the wave action coming up under those buildings. See how those buildings are up on stilts? Well, the waves are eating away and eroding the beaches, and we hope we don't lose any property. We had some minor property damage earlier today. The next high tide, by the way, is the one of real concern. That is tomorrow morning at about 8:45 to 9 in Scituate, and we'll keep you updated. The Weather Channel's Mish Michaels will be live again tomorrow morning, and she'll be out at first light, and we'll be around for the high tide to see how things shake out. But some of the state officials I saw today on local television saying this is the worst they've seen in at least 10 years. So beach problems, still a lot of snow around here. And Paul, I do not want to be around when all this starts to melt.
Well, you better get out before perhaps mid-morning tomorrow, because temperatures should be above freezing at that point.
That should help us out.
All right, have a safe trip back, Mike. That's Mike Seidel reporting live tonight from Burlington, Massachusetts.
Good morning from Burlington, Massachusetts. This is Mike Seidel west of Boston as life tries to return to some sense of normalcy this morning in Boston. We'll update the situation too at Logan Airport and talk about real serious concerns at the coast as high tide approaches.
We are also watching high seas and coastal flooding along the Massachusetts coast. The next high tide is less than 2 hours away.
We had the latest on the storm aftermath and conditions around the nation next on this edition of Your Weather Today for Wednesday, February 7th.
Live from the Weather Channel, here's Marshall Cease and Heather Tesh with Your Weather Today.
Well, good morning to you at 7 o'clock in Tampa and 6 o'clock in Chicago. You're watching Your Weather Today. I'm Heather Tesh.
And I'm Marshall Cease. Thanks for joining us. It's going to be cool again for much of the southeastern part of the country.
And the snow is over for many of you in the northeast. There's still a couple of lingering showers around along the Cape, and we're also looking at a few snow flurries.
And the snow in the southwest and the mountains, and the rain is all headed east over Phoenix, Arizona right now.
Now, most of the northeast is trying to get back on track after the storm.
Our Mike Seidel is live in Burlington, Massachusetts. Mike, are the roads crowded this morning?
Roads are much more crowded than they were the past couple mornings, Marshall and Heather, as the rush hour was virtually non-existent. Everything was closed yesterday. I hadn't seen so much closed since I covered Hurricane Floyd in North Carolina a couple of years ago. In this area this morning, we still have a little bit of slush on the roadways. That's what you have to be concerned with. They try to scrape the ice and slush the best they can, but out here on the turnpike, there's still some of that, what I like to term plastic in the middle of the road, and it is a bit bumpy. Most of the major roadways, though, are in pretty good shape. However, secondary streets and side streets and neighborhood streets, slow down, watch the braking, especially at intersections and stop signs. Again today, kids for the third day in a row are out of school. Just about every school is closed, including Boston Public Schools, and for good reason, because the roads are pretty poor, especially in those back areas. Out here in the Metro Northwest area, this is where we were hardest hit with about 2 feet of snow. We have 22 inches on the ground. Downtown Boston picked up several more inches of snow overnight. With that said, how about Logan Airport? Only 60% of the flights yesterday, about 60% were canceled, so less than half got out today. They're hoping for full operation. They'll get both runways up and running. And now that the snow has ended for good, they can get the taxiways all cleared up, and hopefully you'll get to your destination. Everything basically is booked solid because they had to bump everybody from Monday and Tuesday to today and tomorrow. So if you don't have a seat, you're likely going to have to wait or fly standby. The other problem with this storm, the other facet is out on the coast. Another high tide approaching in the next hour or so, including Scituate at 8:42, and we'll likely have more coastal flooding around Scituate. Plymouth yesterday, some problems there, and Revere Ocean Road was underwater. Also parts of Route 3A was flooded, and again, we're watching that. The National Guard is on standby. There was some minor damage. There's been overwash, beach erosion. This is the worst coastal flooding since December of 1992. There is a coastal flood warning in effect as those winds gradually back off today. Here's your forecast. Gradually ease off and become more northerly, and that's a less favorable direction for flooding in those northeastern faces beaches like Scituate and Plymouth. So overall, the situation is improving once we get past high tide this morning, but on the weather horizon, more snow late Friday and early Saturday. We'll update you on that throughout the morning. Now with more in the northeast and some sunshine too, here's Heather Tesh.
And we will see things certainly quieting down.